Live. I think we are live. If anyone is there, do drop your questions down below. I think we're live. I'm just going to quickly check. Let me have a quick look now if we are live. If you can hear me, drop a comment down below. So if you're here, drop your comments down below. Let's just have a quick look. I'll kind of do it on the Facebook first. Oh, look, I think we can see ourselves. Giving you an update on my Amazon business. Look, I'm right there. That's me. Giving you an update on my Amazon business, and also telling you like what's going on and answering your question. I do this every single week, support you in your Amazon businesses. And let me just check this. Can we go live over here? Let's go see if I can go live on streaming is live. Ooh, so I think we're actually live onto our Instagram, on our YouTube. Let me just check. Instagram, sorry, get it right, Tom. And obviously, if you've got questions, please let me know down below. I'm just going to quickly change my headphones because I can't hear myself. If you've ever tried talking and you can't hear yourself, it is a bit weird. That one, communications. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, so if anyone's there, do drop me a hello thing. Can I turn up the volume? Yeah, I think I'm alive. I'm thinking alive. Gigsy is in the house. Hey, Gigs. Hey, Tom. Hey, Gigs. How are you getting on? Let me just check. Oh, yeah, we're here. Jack Knowles has joined. Oh, my God. This thing over here is not working. Let me just check. What's going on? Let's going on. Are we alive? I will get this working, I promise you. Let's click on the image. Does it want to work? Ooh, there we go. It's loading. It's loading. Jack Knowles has joined. Hey, hey, hey. Good to see you. And obviously, Ken Aswani has joined as well. I can see you here. And obviously, you're here as well. So, yeah, fantastic. So, guys, if you're here, I'll drop me any questions. I think a couple of things that I literally say that I've been talking about or been going through. Let's kind of look at sales for today. By the way, I talked about it previously. I talked about it yesterday. We're clearing down some old stock. It's like we're just trying to clear that old stock down. So, this is my sales so far. Can I do it sideways? December so far, 304. But it might look like it's recovering. Can you see that there? It might look like it's recovering. It's not as good as you think. And the reason is the simple fact that we're clearing down a lot of stock. So a lot of these sales here are going to be like loss leaders. We're losing money on those. I think I shared a post yesterday in one of my groups is the fact that, we didn't really make any money. And I think yesterday we pretty much, oh, thank you, my love. My girlfriend just made me a coffee. She is the best. So that's really, that's something. The coffee is the greatest. But obviously, we're clearing down on stock, and that's a really important point. We've got Asanik Brav said, hi, how are you, bro? Hey, I'm good, thank you. And Rav Flav 115. Guys, if you've got questions on Instagram, drop them down below. I will see them. I can see Instagram right here. But obviously, drop any other questions you've got down below. So, number one, we're clearing down old stock. Number two, I'm planning for my trip to Philippines. I've just done the time zones and everything is going to be a nightmare. Next week, I hate to say it, guys, I'm really sorry. I'm only going live on Monday. I literally have to be sleeping all the other time. Like my when you kind of look at your calendar, it's like Monday to Friday. It's kind of like sleep here, then sleep here, then sleep here, then sleep here, sleep here. I've got to kind of like catch up on my sleep. I'm going west to east, which is like the worst thing in the world. And then even the week after, I will go live, but it will be at 1 hour later time. So obviously, I will kind of try and support you guys, but next week's going to be a real challenge. Unfortunately, just because I'm going to be in like Dubai and I've got to try and get my sleep pattern in regards to Manila, it's going to be a nightmare. Let's kind of jump over some questions. People are coming in. Gigs has jumped in. Guys, again, if you've got questions, drop them down below. Otherwise, it's little old Tom talking to himself, which is going to be like boring. So let's kind of jump in. So, Giggs has said, the VAT threshold has been looming over me for a while, but I've decided to register as I'm at 80K revenue and continue to grow. But it'll be hard, but hopefully you can get to 3 to 4K a month profit. Yeah, you could do it. By the way, like, I had an interview with a friend of mine called Daniel Gibbs. Dan Gibbs? Daniel Gilmore. Get it right, Tom. And I did an interview just typing Gilmore or Daniel into my YouTube channel. You see them, one before VAT registration and one after. And the one thing which he said, which I think is really interesting if anyone is going through the VAT registration process or considering it, is the fact that everyone's kind of like, oh no, the VAT registration process, everything's going to get so much harder. I don't know if I want to do it. Should I just stay underneath? And he said that, and he stayed under for about a year. And what was really interesting was he said that it was kind of like this mental blocker that kind of stopped him from growing his business because he had the belief that it was going to get too hard. Motivation for a purpose on Instagram. Hey, I can see it. Drop questions down below. He had this mental blocker, and then the long story, and then what he did is he eventually went over it. And when he went over it, he started to earn more money And now that mental blocker has gone. Why? Because he said like there was no limit. I can keep my business as big as I want. And I think that's a really interesting fact. And I think for a lot of people who are in the UK or EU think about VAT registration, like I can really understand like oh my God, VAT, what's going on? Like should I stay under it? Don't. Just like at the end of the day, you want to build a business which is going to give you more than like £2,000 or £3,000 a month profit. Because why? Because if it's only giving you £2,000 or £3,000 a month profit, you've probably been better off staying in a job because you probably earn that in a job. That's fine. But if you're like, but we don't do this to earn £2,000 to £3,000 a month profit. We do this so that we can go earn £10,000 a month profit, and we can kind of travel. So I hope that's a really interesting point. And I think for you, like, I'm not saying everyone has to earn 10,000, everyone has to be traveling, but hopefully you understand is don't go and take the risk of starting your own business and doing it all if it doesn't give you a lot more choices than what a job would do, because it's just like it's a lot more hassles, a lot more like kind of stress. A job's like a lot easier relatively. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Easy Peasy has joined on Instagram, and Zippy Bangladesh has joined as well. Wow, get a lot of people. Guys, if you're dropping questions on Instagram, do let me know down below. But Gigs, honestly, well done. And by the way, when we did Fast Track FBA and we moved over to VAT registration, I may have accidentally registered a little bit late. So we may have gone quite a bit over the VAT threshold. I don't know how that affects. Speak to your accountant. So it could be the case that I was trying to be smart, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is. I think we still paid the VAT on it. So speak to your accountant like, oh, what if I were to accidentally forget until I hit 85 and then register? What would then happen? Do I have to pay anything else? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not 100% sure. Speak to an accountant. I'm not a financial advisor. See how it goes. But Gigs, hope that helps. And I do understand that like a mental barrier, 85K, got to stop buying, stop selling, etc. Let's go through. Fizzy Jizzy. Hey, Tom. Which page on Amazon is best to manage transactions? Making sure they take the right amounts in and out. Find it so hard to read too much data everywhere. I get your point. Long story short, even like you don't really get a choice. And I've never ever seen like Amazon are doing millions of transactions every day. And you don't really get like there's nowhere to check this. It's not going to happen. Like we're doing hundreds of transactions a day and we don't check it. We can kind of see by the ratios if they're going to be off, but there is software like by the way, I don't think what you're trying to do is a problem. And the reason why I don't think it's a problem, I don't think you should focus your time on it. The reason why I'm going to say is because if what you're saying Amazon not charging the right amount is a problem, there would be lots of talk about it. There would be tools about how to get that money back, and a lot of people will be talking about it. But like, I don't know of a single tool that can do that. I do know some other tools which I'll explain in a moment. But generally, like referral fees, FBA fees, etc., like you don't get a choice, and I don't really think it's a problem because there's no software at it because Amazon doesn't really make a mistake in that. Amazon does make a mistake in two areas, and I'll talk about them in a minute. Area number one, FBA fees. They can recategorize the products and say the product is now bigger than it actually is, and as a result, they charge you a higher FBA fee, and the net result is that you're now paying more than you should, but you can obviously ask them to recalculate the product, and then they'll correct the FBA fee for you, and you can ask for the money back. Number two, the other one, which is the most common one, and there is lots of software out there, and I'll explain the one that I use in a moment, is Amazon losing stock. That happens. And a classic example of Amazon losing stock is two things. Number one, on check-in. So you sent in 10 units, Amazon said that you received 8. Thank you very much, goodbye. That's it, only got 8 when you didn't. The other one is Amazon sells, or you sell a product to a customer, the customer doesn't want it. They then ask for, they want to return the product. Amazon immediately refund them the money, so take the money out of you, but then the customer forgets. And Amazon doesn't actually charge the customer and then repay you the money that you obviously gave back to the customer. So that sometimes happens, not always, sometimes. So generally on the Amazon customer problem, we use SDK, Seller Toolkit. It does, it's free as part of it, but there's a lot of like Amazon refund software that will charge you a percentage fee. That works. The other one is whereby shipment, and you'll know that because you can literally just go into Amazon Seller Central, look at shipments and look at numbers shipped and the number received, and you'll be able to reconcile the differences and send them the invoice. So that's just a process. So I understand what you're saying. I wouldn't really worry too much. I think the only two things you'd want to look at is shipments going in, and then number two is maybe using like a refund software, Refund Genie, something like that. I'm not 100% sure, or like STK. They'll help you with it as well. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Easy peasy over here. You can see my mouse. Woohoo! Easy peasy over here. It says, what software do you use for bookkeeping and accounting? Oh, by the way, Fizzy Jizzy, if that answers your question or there's something I didn't understand, let me know down below. Easy peasy, what software do you use for bookkeeping and accounting? We use Xero in the UK and QuickBooks in the USA. You can use either one. We use both because I just want practice. I want my team to practice, but you can definitely do it. They both work, but you definitely need it in the UK because you have what's known as Making Tax Digital, so you have to submit. So easy peasy. Hope that answers your question over on Instagram. Let's go and jump through Snappy Fish. Hey, Snappy Fish, looking cool in the sunglasses. Good evening to you. I'm here with my coffee. Man, I really need some coffee. I was just out with a friend of mine, actually. We're having some food in Mexico City. One of them is an Amazon arbitrage seller in the US. Good guy doing good numbers, Gavin Sweeney. And then the other guy was a friend who sold his Amazon private label business for 6 figures. Sold it like a year and a half ago, doing really, really well. But it's really like interesting talking about life after Amazon. You're like, oh, there is a life out there after Amazon? No, not at all. But we're talking about that and like what he was doing and the way he was going. So yeah, really, really good. Snappy Fish, let me know if there's anything else any questions I can answer for you. Gig said that's exactly how I feel regarding VAT. It's a mental block for me. I agree. If you are kind of just getting started and you in the UK or USA or UK and you think about VAT threshold, just keep going, don't stop. You're just limiting yourself. It's not worth it. Jason28 is joined on Instagram. Hey Jason28, drop me a question down below if you've got any comments. I am here, I can hear you. Gigs, will you be hiring a VA from yourself to breach the VAT threshold? Yeah, honestly, really, really good. I think I'm going to do a webinar next month. It will probably be like how to add $10,000 onto your revenue in 3 months, or in 3 months and less than 5 hours a week, or how to add $10,000 onto your how to add $10,000 to your sales in less than 5 hours a week. That's what I'm going to do, and I think it'll be quite helpful for you and kind of do it. So definitely, when you're looking at breaching, by the way, it can be pounds as well. It's the same process works in both UK and USA. But definitely, if you're breaching the VAT threshold, definitely do look at getting a VA. And why you just get a bit more administration? But my God, you still got to be focusing on like buying deals. That's how we make money, by buying deals and reselling them. VAT thresholds and chasing invoices is an absolute nightmare. So yeah, looking forward to that gig. And obviously Fast Track FBA VA Academy will really help you. And now with version 2.0, not only do we support you with all my SOPs, you also get the 3 months free unlimited replacements and money back guarantee. If you're not happy with it, you get your money back. Absolutely incredible. And we do a really good service. There's a reason why 550 VAs have been hired through us and 300 clients. It works. Cannot stress that enough. Gigs, very good. Let me know if there's any questions I can help with the VAT and that you want to know. Oh, by the way, Gigs, if you are going to do it, I will say change your calculator over today. Do it right now. Change it over to VAT threshold right now. Start sourcing like you're a VAT seller. Don't source like a non-VAT registered seller. You're going to find some of those deals that you liked before, they're not so good anymore. Let's kind of go through. AJ, hey AJ. Hi Tom, if I want to find out what your ROI is on a monthly basis, what is the easiest way to find out? What, my ROI or your ROI? Hopefully, like, I don't know any way that you could find out my ROI without either hacking into my accounts or asking me directly, me telling you. But I don't know about that. But if you're looking at your ROI, the easiest way to do it, obviously, like generally speaking, is looking at things like Seller Toolkit, for example, or P&L software. They'll help you out. One way we do it is we do it through that. The other way we do it is by looking at things like Xero, QuickBooks. We take the cost of goods and then we divide it by the profit generated, or should the profit generated divided by the cost of goods sold, and the net result gives you an ROI. So, like, maybe I made £5,000 profit. Oh my God, I'm getting tired. It's warm in here. That's why I need my coffee. So maybe I made £5,000 profit and I've sold £10,000 worth of goods. Well, 5,000 divided by 10,000 equals 50%. So I make a 50% ROI. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Generally, if you're going to send about £10,000 worth of goods, you'll probably make about 12,000 or 20,000 revenue. It's like buy for 10, sell for 20. So you're going to double the cost of goods, and then it's profit divided by cost of goods will work out your ROI. So I hope that makes sense. AJ, just let me know, like, did you really want to know my ROI or did you want to know your ROI? What is the way to find out your ROI on a monthly basis? So I'm sure you meant yours, but like SDK would probably be the easiest way, and that's what we use. We can check it. It works really well. Guys, if you've got questions, drop them down below. I am obviously here to help you out and help you think. So if I'm just going to give you an update, next week I'll only be going live on the Monday. Why? I'm going to be in Orlando on Monday, and then I'm going to be flying to Dubai, and then I'm going to go to Abu Dhabi, and then I'm off to Manila on the Saturday. So it's going to be a really busy week for me, and I've got to try and change my sleep patterns. I'm already getting tired now. And then the other one is the fact that once I've done that, then I'll be in Manila. So Manila, I'll kind of do it with you, but I'll be waking up. I'll be waking up at this time trying to do this. I'll probably operate a bit of an hour later, but I will be here to support you guys and obviously helping answer any questions that you may have. But I think the idea is that over the next few weeks, I'm going to be flying, but that starts on Monday. So just kind of give you an update on that one. And also as well, I will be doing a webinar over the next 3 weeks. I'll probably try and do them around like good time, like good UK time, middle time, then USA time after that. Really about how to grow your business, 10,000 revenue a month in less than 5 hours a week. So I'll share some links about that coming up. Watch on my social medias, you will see that as well. Just going to jump over to Instagram quickly. Jason28 says, I just tuned in, listening to hear what questions people may have. I'm new and have not set up an account, so I'm just gathering information. Don't mind me just taking notes. Jason, no problem. Let me know if you've got any questions. Appreciate you starting. Number one, which marketplace are you starting in? UK, USA are the general big ones. Number two is, what are your worries right now? The one big thing that you're going to hear about starting off, obviously, create your company account, fine, or your account, professional selling account, of course. People talk about ungating. My advice is, everyone makes it out to be a big problem. Yes, it is annoying to start with, but it's not the end of the world. Buy some products in like the grocery or maybe sports, which are ungated categories. Try and make £500 to £1,000 or dollars worth of sales. So you need to buy like $250 to $1,000 or $500 worth of product, get them sold, and then whilst you're doing that, then go to like one of the distributors, Frontier Co-op. I forgot what the other one's called. Frontier Co-op in the US, or like Harrison's Direct in the UK. Buy some products, get yourself ungated, and then you're going to be rolling. So like you're going to learn the ungating process. Ungating isn't very hard. You can literally just type into forums, hi guys, does anyone know a supplier to get ungated in this? There are thousands of videos. You don't need to pay for it. I promise you that. It's not a big issue. So I hope that makes sense. Jason28 on Instagram, let me know. Pink Flamingo Glam has joined as well. Let's go that. Let's go jump back over to YouTube. AJ said me, mine, cool, fantastic. I was about to say, how did you find out my ROI? I don't even know my own ROI half the time. I get reports, so I don't look at them all the time. Too many reports going on. Let's kind of jump through. Right. Walker, Checky. I'm so sorry. I'm going to struggle with the name. Stekdi. Oh no, I'm really bad at this. I can only apologise. Please forgive me. Good evening, Tom. I hope you're well. Joined a bit late. No problem. I thought you were flying today. No, I don't fly. Technically, I fly on Sunday. I go Mexico City to Orlando. Stay there night. Orlando, I fly over to where do I go? Orlando, and then I fly to Dubai. Dubai, then I need to transfer over to Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi, I need to go over to then Manila, which is really nice, and then I'm in Manila for like a while, and then I'm probably going to go down to Davao, and then a place called CDO after Davao, and I'll fly back up to Manila, and then I'm thinking about Palawan, so El Nido, I think it is. I'll spend like 4 days there, which is cool, hire a car, drive around, and then I'll probably pop back up to Manila and then make my way over to Boracay, which is a beautiful beach in Manila, in Philippines, and then back to Manila, and then I fly out. So my flight back is going to be, and this is around like the 27th of January, is going to be Manila to Doha, Doha to Madrid, and then Madrid back to Mexico City. And eventually, after spending a whole month away and more flights than you can think about on two hands or count on two hands, I'm going to eventually get back to Mexico City and probably do some work. So yeah. Pink Flamingo said hi, and Jack Knoll said, what time is your flight on Sunday? Mexico City time, I think about 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock I fly to Orlando. That starts the big journey. And obviously New Year's Eve is the night before, so I hope that makes sense. You answered as I typed above. No problem. There you go. I've just given you my full itinerary of thing. By the way, I haven't booked everything yet. The hotels I've only done on the way out and the first 2 weeks in Manila. So we've got to see. I've got some really nice 5-star Marriott hotels. If anyone wants to know, oh, by the way, I'll tell you now, I've got some really nice 5-star hotels on points. I'm not paying for them. We've got a Ritz-Carlton in Abu Dhabi. We've got a St. Regis, I think it is. No, I'm doing to a Westin actually in I don't know, Dubai, which would be quite nice. It's a really good location, just at the bottom of the Palm. And then I think I'm doing another Ritz Carlton in Doha, and then when I come back, it's my girlfriend's and I's like 1 year anniversary, so I'm going to go stay in the St. Regis in Mexico City. Again, all points. Don't do it. Don't worry about it. The other thing I will say, just because you reminded me, is I've just been accepted onto the Amex USA Business. I've just got my Amex USA Business card, which is great. It's a credit card, not a charge card, because I want the credit limit, not the charge card limit, increased. So I can get a charge card limit later, but I want a credit limit first. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, let's jump through. Mary's joining from the Philippines. Hey, Mary, let me know where in the Philippines. Maybe I'm going to become visiting there in the next few weeks. Let's kind of go through. Adam, bonus live. Hashtag excited. No, I'm here. I'm going to be doing this. Let's go and jump through. First question for me, what are your thoughts on undercutting the competition with ED saying I repriced it undercut by 1p? It's fine, but just like only ever do that if you really want to clear it out. So if I give you an example, it's only other products that we want to sell fast would I undercut on. I wouldn't probably undercut if we are wanting to make profit on them. If anything, I'll probably go higher or at least match the buy box. I'll only undercut if I need to clear the stock. That's it. There's no problem with it. It's just got to be like if you're trying to clear it down, like that's it. Because if you're undercutting and I'm matching, guess what happens? Even if I'm not undercutting, so I'm matching you. You're here. You're on undercut. Cool. So I come and match you. You undercut me. I match. You undercut. I match. You undercut. Every 15 minutes, you're going to drop that. Now I know it's only 1p, but you're just going to bring that listing down over a long enough period of time. So just be mindful. Like I'm not a personal fan. I think if you are going to do the undercutting, make sure you've got a snooze function to bring your price back up again, like during the night. That's what I'd probably say. Scott Needham talked about it in our latest interview. I thought it was really good, and I definitely agree with that. And he sold $400 million on Amazon. That's incredible. 400 million. Wow. It's pronounced Shikd, Shikd. Yeah, I get you. I can read that. The silent T. Thank you so much, Shikd. Call me Shev. Everyone else calls me Shev, but good effort in pronouncing my name. I've heard worse. My God. Thank you so much. And thank you for forgiving me. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. Ooh, you hate it. Let's go jump through. AJ says, hey, Tom, how long after setting a limited company would you recommend applying for a business credit card? I think if you just created the company yesterday, you're probably going to get rejected on the business credit card unless it has a personal guarantee element and they'll use your personal credit. But I think my advice would be for you is the fact that you could definitely do it after 1 year. There's no harm about that. And you filed your year accounts. You could probably do it after about 6 months of trade. So long as you've kind of got some accounts together, that's what they might ask. Generally, if you're going to do it before your first year of company accounts, filed, they're probably going to ask to see a copy of your accounts. So I think that's the one thing to consider. But I'd probably say wait, no less than 3 months, but 6 months I try, because if they reject you, they'll say wait 6 months, then it'll be a year, and you'll be fine. So probably about 6 months, I'd probably say. I think we tried doing the Amex in the US after 6 months, and they rejected me. It was a bit silly. So yeah, I think that's the kind of thing. So I hope that makes sense. Let's go and jump over Archimedes on Instagram over here. Michelle Crow has joined. Hey, Michelle Crow. So when going from FBA to FBM, what ROI increase, decrease do I need to consider? If you're going to ask me, I don't think you need to change your ROI consideration. What I think you need to change is your calculations. So if you're going to be using a tool like FBA Multi-Tool, SAS, SellerAmp, RevSeller, etc., you just need to make sure that you're factoring in the right calculations. And I know definitely ASIN Zen has an FBM and FBA section, and you could probably do it in all the other calculators. So I wouldn't possibly look at maybe changing your ROI, but just make sure you're factoring in the right costs. FBM is going to have a different cost structure to FBA. Now, FBA is obviously going to have the FBA fee, whereas FBM is going to have your shipping fee. Now, in your FBA fee, you don't have it in the FBA fee itself, but in that calculation, you'll also have a fee which is called your USPS or UPS shipping, which is to get it from your house or your warehouse to Amazon. And the net result is that that's what you don't need to pay that either. So you'll probably save a little bit of money in that respect because you're not paying that fee. But you'll probably find that your shipping fee is going to be more than what your FBA fee is. That's the one thing I'd consider. And obviously in your FBA fee, it already has like cardboard, tape, labor, whereas you won't have that in your like shipping fee, like Royal Mail or UPS or DPD or whatever. So you just need to factor in that. So I hope that makes sense. Let's kind of jump through Snappy Fish. 1 second. Archimedes in Instagram. Let me know if that answers your question down below. Also, give me a big love heart or a like if you're enjoying the live. I'm not gonna try and get naked, but I'm gonna take my jumper off because I'm getting really hot. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm getting really hot. 1 second, stay there. I'll be there. Guess what, guys? Tom is wearing a black t-shirt. You've never seen that before, have you? Tom has definitely not been wearing a black t-shirt in every single YouTube video that's ever been released. And he's definitely not wearing a black t-shirt over here in the Instagram photo at all. I think that's blue, actually, but they're all the same. Doesn't really matter. But there you go. Black t-shirt, people. Keep it simple. I absolutely love it. So Archimedes says thanks. Archimedes over on Instagram. Cool, no problem. Hit the heart button, the like button, if it was a good answer. Let's kind of go through. Snappy Fish said, what's the first piece of software you'd recommend getting started? Would it be a subscription on Keeper? First bit of so obviously first one you definitely got to get is a professional selling account without a shadow of a doubt. I think by the way, the only other bit of software you actually probably I would recommend would be like a sourcing tool like SaaS SellerAmp. Why? Because that's going to help you out sourcing, doing deal analysis. They have Keeper light graphs in there. By the way, the data is exactly the same as Keeper, but 1 second. But you don't need to, it's exactly the same as Keeper. It's the same data, it's just displayed slightly differently, but it's the same graph, same everything. The reason why I know is Keeper provides an API access and you can create your own graphs from the same data. So it's the same stuff. So you don't need a Keeper subscription if you're just getting started. You don't need P&L software when you're getting started. You don't need a repricer when you get started. If you really want a top tip, Snappy Fish, go onto my YouTube channel and type in, I think it's called 3 months. And the reason why I say that is because there was a YouTube video I created called How to Get Selling on Amazon for 3 months for free. So literally it does all the tools, it does all the reprices, it does everything else. I'm not saying you have to do it in that exact way, but you can use all the trials, it works. But I think if you want to really keep costs low, you can manually reprice. If you go to fasttrackfba.com/tools, you can get a 2-month free trial of Seller Board. If you go direct, you only get a 1-month free trial, so you get 2 months with my affiliate link. Try that. And also as well, there's another video about how to get seller reviews. That's going to help you as well on my YouTube channel, and that works with Seller Board. And then the final one is you only really need the sourcing software, and that's all I'd say. Just pay for that. That's it. So I hope that makes sense, Snappy Fish. Like, really keep it simple. Snappy Fish, let me ask you what questions, if you talked about Keeper, are there any other tools that you think you need? And I'm going to challenge it. Let's kind of jump through. Billy Evans, hey Tom, in the UK, with all of our business expenses, do we get that back when we're claiming it, or just a percentage of it new to business? Great question. 1 second. Man needs coffee. I'll explain in a second. This is like the interlude. And if you are thinking about struggling in your Amazon business, buy Kenko Black Coffee. Not sponsored by Kenko. So, it's a really good point. Okay, let me put it this way. Let's say, for example, you sold, I'm just going to make it simple, £100 worth of products. Fantastic. So you've now got £100 in cash. Great. Amazon are going to take their fees, let's call it £30. Cool. Now you've got £70 left. But also as well, you spent £50 on the product that you just sold, for 100. Cool. So now you've got 20 left. Cool. Now you take out all the other costs. So like if it's like, by the way, it might be like software tools. There's £5, so now you've got £15 left. And then maybe you've got professional selling account, £5 as well. It's more than that, but now you've got £10 left. Now your actual profit is £10. Now everything everything else, everything you've just paid for. So the Amazon selling fees, the software, the professional selling account, the cost of goods, which is the stock, they are all called business expenses. And you take all of that out of the top line revenue, which is at £100, and whatever you're left with, just £10, that's what you pay taxes on. So you only pay taxes on profitability. And you can, if you have a good accountant and they know what they're doing, and I'm not saying you're going to break the law, but obviously there are times where you can do extra things. Like it might be the case that Tom only sells £100 in a year. That's it, and he makes his £10 profit. But the government allows us to reclaim £700 back as the working home allowance. Well, all of a sudden I can take that. So all of a sudden now it might be the case that I've made a loss, so I don't pay anything. By the way, I don't know if you can reclaim the working home allowance if you've made a loss. Just kind of saying that sometimes you can do weird things like that. Your accountant will let you know. But really, at a fundamental level, you only pay taxes on your profits. So all business expenses. And by the way, if you were to tomorrow fly to Mexico for a consultation with someone who sells on Amazon, and we were to go out for a meal, for example, and be a nice steak, and instead of having a business consultation, that could be classified as a business dinner expense, and that would be an expense. That does happen sometimes, quite a lot of business expenses. Or perhaps maybe I want to take you out because you're going to be a customer, and obviously that could be a business expense, and that is tax deductible. So long as it's a legitimate business expense, that's what I'd say. So hope that makes sense, Billy Evans, and let me know if there's anything in particular that you're worried about. The one thing which I will say is obviously reclaiming money has to be done legitimately. It has to be, obviously it is for the needs of the business, and I would really recommend speaking to your accountant because they're going to advise you on it and how to do that the right way. But there's a lot of guidance on HMRC's website or even the IRS, and you see all these things. So I hope that makes sense, Billy Evans. Gig said, have you heard of the Prep Centre Blue 30 in the UK? I've heard of them. I think I know the guy who runs them. I've not heard anything bad, so that's a good thing. I really like that. By the way, there are some big prep centres. I think Midlands Fulfilment. Phone's going off. Midlands Fulfilment was one that happened, and they just one day went, no, we're not going to offer services to anyone. It was like, oh my god. So just be mindful of that. The one thing which I really think about is I generally tend to go for the bigger prep centers who've been around for more than a year, who have an online reputation. Why? Because if my stock goes missing, I want to be able to write a public review about how bad they were. And I know that if I have that power, they're probably going to, should we say, support me as a seller and, try and resolve the problem before I go publicly. Whereas if they're a brand new one, it generally doesn't work. So I'm looking for a public review of a company. Now, I don't know what Blue 30's public reviews are like, so I hope that makes sense. But the ones we kind of use in the UK are We Prep FBA, Fastpack FBA, and systematized fulfillment up in Scunthorpe. Hope that makes sense. Odds Octopus, have you had to deal much with A to Z claims? I don't think I've ever had an A to Z claim. 1 second. Kenko sponsorship is coming. This buyer could have just returned the product to get the money back, instead filed a proper A to Z claim. Now I have to appeal. I don't know. I would probably go. I'd probably do some research on it. But it sounds a bit stupid that the customer's done an A to Z complaint before any kind of refund request or anything. And obviously you can write a appeal, but my appeal will just be hey, thank you so much, I'm sorry you didn't enjoy the product, please return for a full refund. And then Amazon will be yeah, there's no thing. Generally A to Z complaints generally happen whereby there's a genuine complaint, and but it sounds like you've not had a chance to say or to try and rectify the customer situation because they've not given you a chance. So I don't think that would be a claim against you. But again, I've never had one, so I can't really comment. By the way, the one thing I'd probably say is look at Amazon Seller Central forums. If it sounds if the customer's gone straight to an A to Z before even a refund, I'm sure someone else has dealt with this and they'll be able to give you some advice. If not, fasttrackfba.com/Jeff, he might be able to help you. But it sounds a bit silly in the fact that you might have an A to Z complaint against you as before you've even had a chance to respond to any customer complaints. That doesn't make sense. And I don't think Amazon would give you that kind of complaint. You might even call Amazon, look at the account health support, that kind of help you. So I just kind of do that. It sounds a bit crazy, but I know that sometimes Amazon can be a bit stupid. Jump over on Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram, drop your questions down below. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, drop your questions down below. I'm here to help. I'm here this week. Next week, I'm going to only do Monday. I'm flying. I've got to go places. Man's on a mission to get to the Philippines. It's going to be a long journey. I'm flying literally the other side of the world. 12 hours difference. I've got to meet I think there's 75 staff now, quite a lot of them. So I've got to do that. Let's jump over here. Archimedes says, thanks, guys, on Instagram. Thank you so much for your questions. Pink Flamingo Glam has said, great tips. Thank you so much. Showstopper12 has joined. Hey, Showstopper12. Loving the background. Hopefully that's going to be me soon in a nice, beautiful country with some green grass and blue trees, blue skies. And Hader Alamara joined as well. Hey, Hader. Let me know if you guys have got questions on Instagram. Drop them down below. I can see them on Instagram. They do pop up here on the side. That's cool. Let's kind of jump through. Amma. I hope that makes sense. Hi, Tom. Amazing advice. I have been invited to Amazon Starter Program. Cool. Have you come across this? Not sure if I should sign up. They charge £650 per month with a 6-month commitment. Wow. Is that actually from Amazon or is that from someone else? By the way, what do you get in the Amazon Starter Program? Like, I'm really not like, what do you get? So, 1 second. Man needs more coffee. So hopefully it's from Amazon. If not, you might not need it. So number two is, let me put it this way. There's a program Amazon do. It's called the Amazon 360 program. Now thank you so much. So yeah, thank you. So we've been invited to the 360 program for every month for the last 5 months or 5 years, or not, no, like 2 years, and it's been closing all the time. Like, you need to get in now, help us out. Long story short, they charge you, I think it's like £3,000 a month minimum, plus a 1% of revenue, top line revenue. Like, it's incredibly expensive. And we asked the question, if I get suspended, can you get me unsuspended, or can I have a direct line to the people doing it? And they're like, no, no one can do that. So really all they do is they tell you like how to sell a bit more. I don't think it's worth it, like especially not for the Accelerate program. We're not interested in it. Now, if you're talking about the Amazon Starter program, I'd really find out what you get. And I would hate to say it, but I think you could, especially for £650 per month for 3 months, for 3,600, I think you can get much better training privately through people who are actually selling on Amazon and help you out. I mean, we do the Fast Track FBA Seller Academy, and it's really for people who are selling already, and we're not that price. We're cheaper than that. So, like, I don't think it's a good value for money. I think you could probably do a better job, like doing through a private, you know, like someone who like is doing the model that you want is going to help you out and support you a lot closer. But I probably don't think that if that's an Amazon starter program, you know, see how it goes. It's very interesting. I want to take I'm gonna do something here. 1 second. I want to take a picture because maybe I'll do some research on it and do a video on it and find out what the kind of thing's about. Stay there. Tom wants to take a picture. Tom is going to get his camera out, and it's like this. It's like this is the new way to send data. Take pictures. Interesting. So thank you for sharing that. That's really, really good. Anyone else know anything about the Amazon Starter program? Very interesting. Maybe a video idea. Cool. Let's get started. Hashtag aside. Himson has joined. Hey, Himson. What a lovely name. Absolutely love it. Hi, Tom. Just watching today. Got no questions. Cool. Top tip for you, like I get this. I do coaching, by the way, Tony Robbins, and one of the things that is always like, is like, what can I specifically help you with today? And I'm like, quick, makes up something on the spot. My advice for you is just get a checklist somewhere, Google Tasks. Doesn't really matter. But what I do think about is every time you go through your day, you want to be looking for problems. Just jot the problems down, dump them on. And the reason is when you get someone who's like, hey, like, you know, how can I help you? Half the time we're like, oh, I don't know, I have no idea. Be like, no, 1 second. Here's my task list. How do you solve this one? And they'll be like, oh, cool, you know, cool, well, we'll solve that one. Yeah, that's really good, cool. So just be mindful, like really make that point of like having that list. That will help you out. It's a really good trick in life. I hate that. Mr. Alsol has joined down the bottom there. Hey, Mr. Alsol, down the bottom in Instagram. Let's kind of jump through. From Amazon. Yeah, cool, from Amazon. Cool. Thank you so much for that one. Let me know, obviously, if you think you're going to do it, or if maybe there's something you know why you're thinking about it. Odds Octopus. Yeah, it seems like they take these claims seriously or pretend to, as my account, which is in healthy category, is now at risk of deactivation as the defect rate has jumped up due to this. Crying faces times 10. I can understand. Look, The one thing I'll probably say is, of course, they take it seriously. Like, I'm not going to lie, but it's the first time you've done it, and you haven't been found guilty yet. It's just at risk. It's an automatic, like, formula. I get that. I'd still do your research. Worst case scenario, fasttrackfba.com/Jeff. That he'll help you out. I think the idea is like, my God, you get, not saying like I get it all the time. We get the IP complaints, never had an A to Z. But I think the idea is you just want to resolve the customer complaint if you can, but do the research first. But like, do the research before you resolve the customer complaint. Just make sure you're in the right place. I think you have like some time to reply back. Usually it's 24 hours. Like, just do your research, get it right. But like that kind of account at risk, like, I think they kind of like, they have to say that just in case. And generally it's like, if you've been caught selling fake products or something, like your Gucci handbag isn't really Gucci, just be mindful of that. But if you're like legit and the products are legit and the customer's like being a bit stupid, I'd be very surprised if you got suspended. And the reason why I do say it as well is because Amazon are getting a lot more like seller friendly. 5 years ago, it was suspend first, ask a questions 10th. Like, it really was. Now it's like, oh, you got a problem with your account health? We're going to give you a call. Or you can call us and we'll have a chit chat about it. And by the way, I'm going to take that problem off the account health before, while we're on the phone. That was impossible 5 years ago. Now it's changed. It really has. In the US, especially, they talk about Walmart. They're really worried about Walmart. So they're being a lot more friendly with Amazon sellers. Hope that makes sense. But do your research on Octopus. Let's kind of go through. AJ, how often does your lead service update with new products? I'm asking because I've recently started, I haven't seen any new leads. Pretty much every day, as far as I'm aware. Stay there. I'm going to look at my. I have an internal report which tells me some stats, and I can tell you how many today. So we basically, by the way, my team will probably log out at like. I'm basically US time zone, so they'll probably log out at like 8 a.m. my time. So if you've logged in today, you won't get any news today. They kind of happen overnight because the Philippines is obviously nighttime, so that's probably why. But you do get them all the time. 1 second, I know, wrong one. I'm just gonna have a quick look. No, I'm looking for the wrong one. Yes, I'm looking here today. So we've had. Yeah, you've had like 18 new deals in the UK and about 20 new deals in the US. So that's coming in. By the way, like, they might submit some old deals, and if they already exist on the system, we won't resubmit, we won't reshow them because within the next 2 months. So it's not a huge amount today, but we're definitely coming in. So if you get problems, like, see how it goes tomorrow, and then if you're still getting that, drop us a message, and obviously we can have a look. It could be the case you've got filters on. That's a really important thing. So like, it might be the deals that you've got aren't meeting the filters that you need, and hence you're not seeing any new ones because they're already filtered out. Hope that makes sense, AJ. Let's kind of go through. Is there a type of person from a particular business background that does better at this type of thing? For example, do people working in retail already have an advantage? I probably say no. 1 second. Let me drink some more coffee. It was even cold, but it was really nice. I love coffee. Black coffee, no sugar, no anything, no Splendor, no nothing. So, what? It's a really good question. I think, look, there is no one size fits all, but I think one of the things that I really see, or two behavioral traits which I think give you a bit of an advantage. Number one, people who can make this a habit, i.e. wake up every day, find product. Not who want to do it, not motivate, but they just do it habitually. Like, it's a habit, they do it. And then number two, I'll tell you the quote in a minute because it's about marketing, but I think it applies to business and even arbitrage. People who are like always improving. Tony Robbins calls it about marketing. He says, the best marketeers in the world are the ones who obsess over the numbers and beat them. And I think the same is very true for people in business. The best business people in the world obsess over the numbers and beat them. So I think that's a really important point. So for you, the question comes is make habits of doing positive actions and then keep improving every single day. That's it. That's all I'd say. That's generally what I see. Oh, and they're very optimistic and they think big and they plan. If you do that, I think you're generally going to be on the right paths. Like, grow, don't get caught up. Habits, like, we all have bad days, but the good people just get up and keep going. Like, regardless if it's a bad day, nah, still got to do my job, like, fine. I treat it very much like a job, even though it's a business or 3 businesses. So I hope that makes sense. Saurish1 has just joined. Bill Mills has joined. And your e-commerce guy has joined. So let me go. If you're Instagram, you've got questions, drop them down below. I will answer them. And eSales Official has joined. What does eSales Official do? Well, that's very interesting. Snappy Fish, let me know if that answers your question down below. SJ, for new arbitrage sellers, do you recommend Prep Center to use from the beginning? If so, what would be your budget to start with? I think if you're a new arbitrage seller, I think my advice, even if it's just for 1 week, do it yourself. Like, even if you like actually just like go down and buy something and prep it and ship it in, you've got to learn the process. So there's a real, I'm not saying if you've got to do it for very long, just like do a week, just do a couple of shipments, get them off, see how it goes. That's really, really important. I think the other one I'm going to say to you is like, if you're starting out, what's your budget? I think you should probably start out with at least like £3,000, $3,000. If you can get to 5, fantastic. Why? You can do this on 1,000, I don't deny. But I think like if you're going to start at 1,000, it's going to start the Amazon seller fee, maybe software costs are going to be £100. That's going to be about 10% of your budget gone straight away. Whereas if you start with 3,000, it's only like 3% of your budget gone straight away. So it's going to be a big chunk. And really, we don't make our money by having an Amazon selling account and software. We make our money by buying product and getting it sold. And this is, by the way, trade, which is what we do, we trade in stock, is a cash intensive business. So I think ideally you can do it for like 500, 1,000, but I think 3,000 is a good amount to start with. And I would probably do it manually to start with and then transition over to a prep center. Hope that makes sense. Gigs, how much spend is expected from one VA? So if you want to know, I kind of just done some math. So we generally talk about deals per day, and we talk about 2 to 5. So month 1, 2 to 5 deals per day that you can buy, not 2 to 5 deals submitted, 2 to 5 deals per day on average that you're buying. Month 1, month 2 is 5 to 8, and month 3 we move from a buy to a spend, and we do a spend of 1,333 in the UK or 1,500 in the USA, and that's per week. So if you're thinking about that, USA, you probably do like 6,000 roughly in the UK and 6,500 in the US. That'd be spend. By the way, that's where you kind of start. Where you get to like 5 months, so it's 2 more months later. Like if I'm going to talk it in perspective, we're spending 6,000 in the UK, for example. My VAs now probably spend about 10 to 12,000 a month in the UK quite happily. Like there's no problem. Sometimes they go up to 20,000 in 1 week if we do a really, really good week. So when you have a VA, the first few months are okay to good. You never lose money on the deals that they're buying because you always cover the cost of labor. But when you get to month 5 and onwards, that's when the rocket ship takes off. And you literally see it. It's like even like this one, like woo, it goes up. Hope that makes sense. E-commerce guy over on Instagram over here says, I have a question. If we write an email to brand for approval for a product, does that approval can be used to ungate other listings of that brand? I want to go for a product that's being sold by Amazon. Do I have to sell these products? You don't have to sell any product. And if you obviously if you've got brand approval, you can use it for all brands. You can get ungated on that all listings for that brand because you've got brand approval, not listing approval. So yeah, hope that makes sense. E-com guy. Instagram, let me know if that answers your question. Let's kind of go through SJ. You've got any recommendations for a prep center in UK, RA, OA? RA is generally from home, so it's whoever's local. But for OA, the 3 big ones we generally always talk about: systematized fulfillment, Kev Blackburn up in Scunthorpe, We Prep FBA in Suffolk, and Fast Pack FBA in, I think they're Nottingham or the Midlands somewhere. So check them out. They've been around for a while. Give them all 3 a call, see what they're getting on with, see what offer they can do for you. OP, hey Tom, can you explain the end of the day report you get? Does this include leads found from sourcing VAs, or is it just total spend from the purchasing VA? So the end of day report we get, or I get from my team, I'll see, give me 2 seconds. I have an old one. Oh no, I can't. I'm going to be a bit cheeky. I'll see if I can do this. Is that going to crash my computer? Stay there. I'll see if I can load it up for you. I'm going to put it in my Instagram section. It's going to crash my computer, isn't it? It's so going to crash my computer. Stay there. I'll see if I can do it. Have I got one? No, I don't have one. I thought I had one. Yeah, the end of day report that we get is, I am just looking, 1 second, if I can get one up, it might be an old one. I think it's quite a good report. Bang, bang, bang. Tom's scrolling down. Tom's scrolling down. He will find one because I remember seeing one once. There we go. Fine. Let's load that up. Bosh, I'll put this over. 1 second. It just doesn't want to do anything, does it? Scroll that down, zoom that in. Okay, cool. I'm going to try and move this onto my computer where I can kind of hide it into there. You might not be able to see this. There we go. This isn't perfect. Sorry. Okay, it's over. It's coming over the Instagram, but sorry, people. Oh, no. Sorry, people on Instagram. So this is my end of day report. And this quite simply, and I'll see if I can kind of like zoom in and play around with it. So really simply, can I move it around? I'll see if I can get it. I'll see if I can get it fitting in the right place. So long story short, can I zoom out? Oh, I'm just playing around. Zoom out a bit. So one of these things, if I can kind of get it to move. No, sorry guys. I know you're like, Tom, actually like, there we go. Can I move this down? There we go. Cool, fine. So this is my end of day report. And this actually comes from the USS, the ultimate sourcing sheet. And if you want to know, like you can kind of see it says like total available spend for the week, fine. So basically, it's a report for me and my sources. So it's automatic. It comes from my purchasing managers, but it's automatically generated. So they just fill out the boxes. So they put in how much spend they've got. They put in the gross profit target, so 5,000. And then basically we've got a report. So they share this one report every day. It's just a screenshot on the USS ultimate sourcing sheet. They literally take a screenshot of it, drop it in, and then they just tell me, so I can see what's happened today, and then I also can see how the week's going so far. So for example here, this isn't this week, it's a while ago, 18th of November, so it's a while ago. Purchase value, they spent 18,000 so far in the week. Expected profit is going to be 9,000, which is great. Remember, our target is 5,000. We're going to achieve 192% of gross profit target. Fantastic, everyone loves that, we're over target. ROI, we're looking at about 51.95, so I can just see the numbers there, cool. We're also looking at cancelled orders. That's a big problem we have, especially in the USA market. So again, we've got 34.6% cancelled orders. And then finally, on how much cash to spend. And I can't allow them, they can't go over. And the reason why I kind of look at all this is, number one, I want to know where the business is at. Like, I'm really looking at how much profit they're going to generate to the business. And we have a target, so I want to see that. Number two, I want to know how much they spent and how much they've got left, because then I know, like, are they doing better? Are we on target? Are we off target? And by the way, if I'm seeing that I'm always spending the money, I need to get more money, aka credit cards. And then the final one I'm looking at is two things, ROI, I just want to see how that's performing. And then finally, the final one is going to be the cancelled orders, because I'm going to be asking questions like, why are we getting so many cancelled orders? What's going on? Etc. Do we need to change it up? And I will also just have a quick look at the available spend, generally on a Monday, because I want to see like, how much have we got to spend this week? I get another report, but I don't really check that report. I can see it in here, so I can just see it in that report. So hope that makes sense. That is my kind of like daily inventory or daily report that we get from the ultimate sourcing sheet, and it's just created automatically, and it just speeds up our processes, and it gives me what I need to know to, number one, hold my team accountable, but number two, to know where my business is at. And I think that's really important. I run this business on 2 hours a week, and the net result is that I need insights into the business very quickly. And I think, if by the way, this came from a position of, I used to get worried about my business, and I asked myself the question, Tom, why are you worried? Why are you like doing all these things? It's like, because I didn't have an understanding of where my business was at. And because I didn't understand where the business was at, I was worried. And so I said, right, well, I need clarity. I need optics on my business. And hence we already had a lot of systems and reports in place. We continue to develop them. And now, hence why I can run it in 2 hours a week. And I'm like, I spend more time with you guys than I do with my own team. So I'm like, because I know where my business is at. I know what's going on. And it really, really helps. So I hope that makes sense. Big shout out to Koo. It's over here, Instagram. Koo Kaz Crafts. Hey. Amazon FBA like a boss. Hey, loving your work. Keep it up. And Wealth in the Making. Keep it up, guys, on Instagram if you've got questions. I've got about 5 minutes left, and then I'm finishing. And obviously, I'm only here Monday next week because I'm flying over to Manila. It's going to be a long, long journey. Let's kind of jump through some of the other questions. We've got another question coming over on YouTube. Vinny, one of my VAs has been performing poorly for a month, and now they're thinking about resigning. How should I handle the situation? Top tip for you. If you are part of the Fast Track FBA VA Academy, while we do officially say you get unlimited access to our weekly calls, you get a weekly support call with my team, so you can jump in with Jade, my HR manager, and you can ask this question in person. we still don't stop other people coming in if they're part of the VA Academy, and you can access that through the private Facebook group. So if you're part of the Fast Track FBA VA Academy, my advice, it'll be on Tuesday, jump into that call. Have a conversation with Jade, because what I'm about to tell you is great, but you'll be able to ask further questions. Where I've only got about 4 minutes left, so I'm not going to be able to give you a full answer and kind of Q&A back and forth. But what would I do if I was in your situation? Well, by the way, if the VA is performing poorly and they're thinking of resigning, I would probably be like, regardless of the resigning conversation, or she said, like, I would still need to manage the performance side on the one hand, and on the other hand, if they're thinking of resigning, I'd also as well ask them why they're thinking of resigning. So there's two kind of problems here, and I think you need to think about them in isolation. I appreciate they're probably linked, but just because someone is thinking of resigning doesn't mean we shouldn't handle the performance problem. I think it's a really important point. Why? Because, oh, my performance isn't good. Hey, you need to improve. Well, I don't really want to, and if you try and make me, I'm going to quit. Like, no, sorry, you sort your performance out or I'll fire you is the short answer. And I'm not saying like they have to sort it out, that's it. Like, we're going to support them through the process, but it shouldn't be like, I'm not going to bother with improving my performance, and if you try and make me, I'll quit. Like, that's not the kind of people you want in your business. So I do think the question I would kind of ask for you is, number one, I'd have a conversation. Hey, why are you thinking of resigning? And my question would be like, why? And if they say, oh, because like you're pushing me too hard. Generally, the performance and resigning is probably the resigning because of the performance, and they think it's too hard. So first thing you need to understand is, why do they think it's too hard? So my advice to you is just ask some questions. Again, other sellers. What's your deal criteria and how much are you spending per week on the deals that VA is finding? And what you're trying to do is to prove what you're asking of your VA isn't outrageous and it's very normal, and other people are able to achieve it. Once you can prove that other people are able to achieve what your VA should be achieving, then the next question comes around is not it's too hard, it's the fact that your VA isn't doing what other people are able to achieve. We're not saying they're a bad person, they might not even enjoy it, but they should be able to do it. We know it's possible. The next question is about your job is here to say, look, I'm going to set out a timeline. A timeline is over the next 5 weeks, we do have a process in the VA Academy to go through. It might be over the next 5 weeks, I need to see you get up to improve, and I need you to achieve these results. I'm going to be here to support you for 1 hour a week to help your development. But what I do need to see is those results in 5 weeks. And if I don't see the results in 5 weeks, unfortunately, I will be letting you go. I think you need to be clear about that. I think you need to be honest with it. And I think you need to set the expectations. I fully say you have to support your team member. But what I don't think you need to do is support them and then let them get away with something. No, you set the expectation which the business needs, and again we have our reporting, we know what the business needs to make, and we hold them accountable, but we support them. But if they don't hit that target, which is achievable by the way, well, they're probably not going to be right for the business. Vinny, I hope that helps. But by the way, I'll speak to Jade in the VA Academy. That's the best one. Ricardo, hey Tom, slightly different question, but what's your favorite country that you visited and why? I've been to a few places in Asia, so be interesting if you. Mexico City, mate, honestly. Gavin's just been to Thailand and he's like, I love Mexico, it's great. Like, I really love it. Time zone, it really works. The weather here is beautiful. It's always mid-20s. The humidity's super low. Cost of living's great. Super fast internet. All the stuff that you want. Like, WeWorks, Uber Eats. Absolutely love it. I like the culture. I'm learning to salsa dance. That's really good. Obviously, my girlfriend is like the #1 priority here because she's like right there. So got to definitely do that. She's like, no, she's amazing. But then also, so don't get me wrong, I like Asia. I think it's cool. Two things that like I say against it: time zones are really bad, and then number two is humidity. I'm just not a big fan. When it's too hot, I can't work productively. Mexico City, I can work really, really well. Cancun, not at all. The humidity killed me. Mexico City, I absolutely love. So. And by the way, it's like safe. It's fine. Like, don't worry about it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's fine. Let's go and jump through over onto over here. I'm just going to come through onto the thing. Koozcraft says, clap, clap, clap. Thank you, Koozcraft. Jason, do you have a rundown video on YouTube to start an account? Fasttrackfba.com. Go to resources and then free express course. That will help you out. Ivan Penner RGV has joined. Hey, Ivan. Who else have we got down here? Dornos, Tom. I really enjoy these lives. Thank you. No problem. I will be here on Monday doing them next week, but I'm not going to be for the rest of the week. This week I'll be here, but next week I'm only on Monday because I'm flying over to Manila. Hi, Tom. I edited my Instagram name so you can read it better. Ivan Penna RGV. Hey, Ivan. Thank you so much. That's good. Honestly, keep up the great work, people. Keep smashing it. Let's do the final question because, oh my God, I got to be really quick. You guys are going to say, hi, Tom. Does SDK reprice remember the original price you set for an item? For example, if I restock more, I want to just create different SKUs. Create different SKUs. We do it. We have multiple SKUs for the same item. You can do it. It's not against Amazon rules. You can be on the same listing more than once. It's not against Amazon rules. We create that. So we have a SKU for like, pen 50p, pen £1, buy price. That's what we do. So we put it in the SKU. We don't do it. So otherwise, it doesn't do that. Sorry, I don't think it does. SJ, I'm starting with a 3K budget, new seller in the UK. So after a couple of weeks, can I rely on the prep center using my monthly service and faster KPA? I want to increase my budget. Yeah, like you could, I definitely do some purchasing yourself. Ship it to your house, sell it, and then the net result goes that once you've done that, you can then just you understand the FBA service or the prep service, then use a prep center, and then you're done. And then use our leads. You grow up to 5Ks, 10K, get a VA if that's going to be what you want to do, and keep scaling the business. So yeah, like definitely do it. Like by the way, yes, you can use a prep center. Yes, you can use a lead service. These are things that are going to help you. I do want to be very crystal clear. They're not going to do it for you. You still have to do the hard work. You still have to do the deal analysis, the reviewing. By the way, when our lead service shows you a deal, let's say, for example, cat food, chicken flavor, go look for the beef flavor. Think about other deals that you can get around that. That's how you make more money because you're getting those deals. It's so helpful. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to give you an inside tip there. Vinny Scales, have you got any good process of ordering goods with short expiry dates? You've got to speak to the supplier. That's it. Like it's the only way I know. Unless the supplier tells you, it's not going to happen. What about cross the VAT threshold? So we now include that on Amazon fees when sourcing. It's my first week. My VA has had to do this now. Should I support them? Should I? Don't lower your criteria. Set your criteria. Like we do 20% ROI, but we're doing like a couple of million. I think you should be able to at least do 25, 30% ROI. Worst case scenario, if you've got a VA from the VA Academy, ask my team. They can give you guidance. By the way, we have detailed analytics of like what a customer's VAs are, how many deals they get from them, what works. Like we can advise you. That's why it's really good coming through us. We can kind of help you out there. I probably wouldn't lower your criteria. Your VA is going to complain. I promise you that. My team have been complaining for about 5 years. By the way, I've been selling on Amazon for 5 years. For some weird reason, we've been growing for 5 years. Every year they complain, it gets harder, but for some reason we keep getting better. They just have to keep finding new ways. It's a hard fact of life, but it does happen. OP, thanks for explaining that. No problem. Jessie V, birthday girl, as of yesterday. I hope you had a happy birthday. Happy 21st birthday, by the way. Keep up the great work. Thank you. And Instagram, why Amazon allows to sell a product without permission and a few allowed to sell without submit invoices. What's the reason? If Amazon is not restricted the product on Instagram over here, then you can sell the product. That's it. And some products you have to have invoices because they've restricted the product. It's Amazon's marketplace. It's Amazon's game. They dictate the rules. I can't guarantee that I'm going to understand them, but it's their rules. We have to abide by it. If you're not happy with the rules, start a Shopify store. Or eBay. That's all I can say. Maybe I misunderstood, but do you get cashback tax-free? If so, how does it work? You need to speak to an accountant. I'm not an accountant. Speak to an accountant. If you take the cashback personally, there might be tax liabilities on it. If you take it as a business, there might be tax liabilities on it. Careful. You speak to an accountant. I think in the USA, cashback is considered a reduction in the cost of goods, so it's not income, so it's not taxable. Just be careful. You need to speak to an accountant. I'm not a tax advisor. Please understand that one. Vinny, thanks, Tom. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Time is up. I'm overrunning again. I know I'm so bad at this. I just want to say a big thank you to all of you. I will be back same time tomorrow. Let's do my closing, my goodbye. Can I do this? I will see you tomorrow. Wahey! See you tomorrow. Central Time, 3 p.m. UK, 9 p.m. I will be here this week. And then next week, only Monday, and then the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Next week, I will not be live because I'm traveling. So I hope you can understand that. So thank you so much for everyone. If you've liked it, hit the like button, hit the love heart on the Instagram, wherever you are. Just want to say a big thank you, and I will see you same time tomorrow. Bye.